This review is made possible by Toyota of Naperville. Toyota of Naperville is the largest Toyota dealer in Illinois with hundreds of new and used vehicles in their inventory. Visit www.toyotaofnaperville.com or in person at 1488 West Ogden Avenue in Naperville, Illinois.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2020 Acura RDX A-Spec. Up front is a 2.0 liter turbocharged inline 4 and down below is a 10-speed automatic transmission.
This video is sponsored by CarMarshal.com. If you'd like to support the channel, click the link down in the description below. CarMarshal.com advertises for over 100,000 vehicles across the US.
But let's get back to that 2.0 liter turbocharged inline 4. Well, puts out about 272 horsepower from what I read on Acura's website. And if you squint your eyes and play a little bit of make-believe, it's essentially a Civic Type R motor. You could also find it in the Honda Accord Sport 2-liter turbo. Same basic, it's not exactly the same, it's not bolt for bolt, but it is relatively the same engine. Now, 4-cylinder turbo in a little SUV like this, and I say little, I would consider this personally mid-size. I like it. I think it's really, really sporty, and the A-Spec package, normally I would think, oh, it's a pack, it's whatever. I actually do think it's a good package, and we'll talk about that later on, but man, it's a sporty little thing. So we are warmed up. We are here on the test track. I can put it into sport. It just downshifted. We'll come up here, wait for the road to clear, and then we'll give her the beans. All right, well, a little bit of sound. Here we go. Wow. It's quick. You guys heard how fast it spooled up. It's really, really an impressive motor. For, an SUV like this, it's actually kind of quick and kind of fun. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 10-speed automatic transmission. You think, oh, 10-speed, that's, they've jumped the shark with the amount of gears you have. I drove an 8-speed maybe 3 years ago. It was a Cadillac. It was the first 8-speed I'd ever driven. I was like, wow, 8 speeds. No one needs that. Well, now it's pretty run-of-the-mill to have a 10-speed. And who knows where it will really stop. It's all for fuel economy, blah, 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 whatever. But on that acceleration test, it was quick. It was shifting when I wanted to. I don't really like the shifter, but we'll talk about that later on. Last but not least, this A-Spec is all-wheel drive. You can get the RDX in front-wheel drive, but when you go up to the A-Spec package, you actually are forced to have all-wheel drive, which I'm not complaining about at all. And if I'm going to buy an SUV, I'm going to buy an all-wheel drive one. I will never buy a front-wheel drive SUV because you have the ground clearance. Why wouldn't you get all-wheel drive? It's just a no-brainer. So with the drivetrain out of the way for now, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have two physical gauges and a screen. On the left is my tachometer, and on the right is my speedometer. These echo the old Acura RSXs from like the late 90s, early 2000s. They might have started in 2000s. I don't know if there's a 90s RSX. But I'll show some video here of an RSX gauges. They look very similar, and I really like that. If you're a big Acura fan, or just a Honda fan or anything, you will appreciate that attention to detail, that it echoes their older models. They haven't forgotten about the RSX, even though they should bring it back, really. In the center, I do have a screen. Right now, I'm looking at my all-wheel drive system, but I can look at my Sport gauge settings, show in Sport Plus. So when I hit that, it actually shows me my acceleration, and it gives me a boost gauge as well. That's really, really cool. I'm going to leave that on always. I didn't even notice that. Then I can look at my standard units and distance, trip computer, navigation, which is just a compass, maintenance, tire pressure, things like that. I absolutely love that it gives me a little boost gauge. Now, it actually is a real boost gauge because it's showing me vacuum right now. So it's showing me vacuum, and then once I get up to it, now we're making a little bit of boost. Now we're making all the boost. Oh, I absolutely love that. That's awesome. On the steering wheel is very busy. It does say A-Spec down below, but it's a rather busy steering wheel. On the left, I have my volume, track change, back, apps, voice activation, and interestingly enough, I have a power button. That is actually for the screen, the center screen. I can mute it essentially and turn it off on the steering wheel. Normally the power buttons aren't found on the steering wheel, but we'll talk about why that's kind of essential. On the right-hand side, I do have cruise control. I do have lane keep assist as well as radar cruise control, which is very, very nice. I absolutely love that. And like I said, it's a nice steering wheel. It's leather-wrapped, perforated leather, has the A-Spec logo, and I do have paddle shifters. So if you want to shift yourself, you can do that through all 10 gears. To the left of me, still very busy. I have my lane keep assist on and off, parking sensors on and off, collision warning on and off, traction control on and off, brake hold on and off, and my power parking brake. On the door, I have 2 different memory seat settings, L's Studio 3D speakers, I guess that's good, and I have my window switches, power mirrors, and locks. Now we have to get up to the center screen. It does have Apple CarPlay. I like it. It's very clear. It's quick. It is not a touch screen. We'll talk about why that is horrible, horrible, horrible after this, but it's not a touchscreen, but it is very clear. And, you know, it's finally up to the quality of our phones. For a while, screens in cars were for some reason way worse than the screens we could get on our phones. And so it always looked cheap, but now this looks like essentially an iPad or Android tablet or whatever those people use. I do have volume controls and track change up top. Then I have my climate controls, heated and cooled seats, dual zone, automatic climate controls, anything you really want out of modern climate controls you have right here. Then we have a giant dynamic mode button, and I am laughing because, as you saw in the acceleration test, I could not find how to put it into sport mode. It's a giant knob on the dash. So I think we're going to chalk that one up to just my stupidity and not the car. But we can switch it between a couple different modes: Sport, Sport Plus, and Comfort, and Snow, which actually, listen, I'll be quiet for once in my life, and you can actually hear as I change. This is the first time I've ever had this. As you change the drive mode, there's actually like a sound. It sounds like a video game. Listen. Here, I'll stop. Choose your fighter. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. We'll leave it here in comfort because I like to be comfy. So that is where you shift drive modes. Now that I actually discovered that, let's put it into Sport Plus and give it a little bit better of a test. I didn't notice a whole big difference in Sport Plus mode, but it's still quick. This is a quick SUV, and we'll switch it back down into comfort with those noises. Speaking of noises, I forgot to mention this with the gauges. When you turn on the car and off the car, it plays this little thing. Turning off the car sounds like F1 cars going by. I don't know if that's the exact sound, but I'll play it here now. It sounds like F1 cars going by. So first I'll play the turning on, and then I'll play turning off. So, getting back to the center stack, I hate the shifter. I just think it's weird. It's buttons for P, R, N, and then D in Sport. Reverse, you kind of hit it backwards, and park is a button, and drive. It'll take some getting used to. It's not the worst thing in the world. What is the worst thing in the world is this touchpad down at the bottom. It is 2020. I thought we got rid of these stupid things. Lexus finally is starting to phase them out. This pad, it's no good. It's no good. It's not exact. When I put my finger somewhere, it's not always going to respond the same way. It's very hit or miss. It's not good. Get rid of this. This is the weakest point in this car. 110%. This is the worst part of this car, is this touchpad. I want to rip it out. I want to get a 10 mil socket, rip it out of here, and throw it in that lake over there. It's the worst thing in the world. I hate it. Acura, if anyone from Acura is listening, get rid of this. Stop. Just, ugh. I do have like a little hand pad below that trackpad, so like if I'm resting my hand here, it's very unnatural. Stupid. Then I do have 2 cup holders, and that's my USB in for the Apple CarPlay. Like I said, this car does have Apple CarPlay, which is the best thing in the world. So take it as you will. Once you get Apple CarPlay set up, you can kind of run it all through the steering wheel, and it's fine. You know, it ends up being okay. Now the seats are finished in red. That is part of the A-Spec package. I guess I should talk about that. It's really an appearance package. We get the red seats, which I'm about to talk about. We get A-Spec badging and different wheels and nicer accents. It's really just an appearance package. It doesn't get any special motor, or it's not manual, or it's not rear-wheel drive. It's really to compete with Lexus's F-Sport package. But I think this does a better job at it. I think you get more features with the A-Spec versus the F-Sport, but that's just my own personal opinion. I do have a Lexus UX F-Sport review that I'll leave at the end of the video, so you can kind of compare and contrast. The seats are great. Part of the A-Spec package, they're that red, they're racing red, heated and cooled. And interestingly, I can put the heated and cooled seats into auto, which is interesting. But they are memory, they are power. I mean, they're great seats. And they do have slightly higher bolsters than you would normally think of an SUV having, but they're not aggressive. The Civic Type R has aggressive bolsters, but this does not. So it's still something you could live with. Definitely, if you like to build Civics, you know, if you have a built K-swapped EK Civic in your garage, this should be your daily driver through and through. That's just it. This should be your daily driver. That's really what I'm feeling here, because it has the passion of, you know, Hondas and Acuras, and it has that heritage, a little thing. But it's not in your face. It's something you could daily, and I absolutely love that. But we'll talk about that later on. But we do have back seats, as I keep digressing. So let's talk about the back seats, and we'll talk about the hatch as well. All right, so we're in the back of the 2020 Acura RDX A-Spec. The red continues on back here. I have 2 cup holders, 2 USB chargers down below, speakers in the doors, red leather, or red stitching on leather on the doors. Overall, just a really good back seat. This is, I would, again, consider this a mid-size. Good room. I mean, my knees don't hit the front seat. I have good headroom. This sunroof actually goes all the way back. You know, it's really, really nice back here. This feels adult. It feels like a good, solid SUV. I'm not crammed, and I absolutely love that. Now we will look at the hatch. So, getting around to the hatch, these are the all-weather floor mats, but I really like the handles that are on the sides that lower the seats in front. So, well, the second row seats. So, those will actually lower that. Makes it super easy. But overall, great size. Not enough for a third row, but for a 2-row SUV, it has a great trunk area. Now we gotta talk about the looks. I like the look of this. I like the color. It's not the most striking thing in the world, this color. They sell it in a red. I think I'd do the red on gunmetal gray wheels. I think just that overall is just, mwah. I think it's beautiful. But I do like the look of this. I think Acuras look great. Their headlights especially, they've really stepped up their game with the headlights. I absolutely love it. I think overall, in the SUV market, there's so many options. Every time I do one of these reviews, I feel like 3 more places came out with an SUV that you could buy. I mean, it's insane. But this is probably one of my favorites for something that's not insane. I mean, if you want like a true performance SUV, like look at like the Trackhawk Jeep, you know, the Durango SRT, if you want like quarter-mile times. But like this, like a fun, sporty SUV, I think this might be one of the best. I like that boost gauge. It is quick. It's not fake quick. It's not like, oh, you know, no, it's quick. This is a quick little SUV. It's fun. I like the red accents. It's not totally overboard with the red accents. It has a little bit of Alcantara on the dash. It has great sound system. It has Apple CarPlay. It has the worst trackpad in the world. But besides that, this is a fun, sporty vehicle. And so I'm thinking right now of all of my Honda fans. You know, shout out to Jake, who races his EK, and Felix, who has owned Integras and a B-Swap Civic and a BMW we all like to forget about. Or my friend Isaac, who has gone through like 18 different Civic SIs or whatever. He's had a whole boatload of them. I feel like this is the final boss. This is when you settle down and you're like, yes, I love Hondas. You know, if you love Hondas, this really rewards you for being a Honda fan. It's fun, it's quick, it's respectable, but it's an adult, it's grown up. It's the Honda fan that wears a necktie. You can show up to your place of business and be respected because of this car, not your clapped out EG with a B-swap. This is adult, this is respectable, this is honest. And it's just straight up fun. And so really, I feel like this A-Spec package is for those diehard Honda and Acura fans. Again, if you didn't know, Honda and Acura are made by the same company of Honda. And so they share all the engines, you know, blah, blah, blah. I really, really like this thing. I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of line, but I can't get over just how good this car is. I really thought the A-Spec package was just going to be a package, but it's not. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their RDX. They have tons and tons of cars on the lot. This is just one of their many, 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 many used cars. I absolutely love it. They have so many cool cars on the lot. If you are shopping for a car, please, Toyota Naperville should be your first stop. They are absolutely awesome. You can't beat it. Their information is up on the screen as well as linked in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really like to. Take care, guys.
There goes a sight from my soul.